Throughout April, Circular Online is speaking to the most insightful names in the sector about green policies ahead of the election and exploring environmental legislation in depth. Andrea Lockerbie has investigated 4 very different countries: Sweden, Costa Rica, New Zealand and Peru, leading the way within various areas of climate policy, and examined the challenges they're facing. Sweden's green policies are often hailed as the most ambitious in the world. In 2018, the government introduced the Industrial Leap Subsidy program to speed up the green industrial transition. And in 2015, Fossil-Free Sweden was launched to help identify business opportunities for decarbonization. While Sweden is portrayed as a progressive green state at the forefront of the transition to a low-carbon society, researchers say the country is struggling to bring emissions down in line with the Paris Agreement, which has caused a lot of domestic criticism from across the political spectrum. Sweden's Climate Policy Council has warned that Sweden is currently on course to increase emissions. If this happens, it will be the first time in at least 2 decades that the country's overall national policy has caused this to happen, the council said. Costa Rica is one of the few Latin American countries to have committed to achieving net zero by 2050. Last year, the government published its 25-year vision for a national circular economy, with aims to improve material reuse and product lifespans and offer businesses more green opportunities. However, the country has a long way to go when it comes to waste. Disposal relies on landfills, and only 7% of waste is recovered, and less than half of households properly sort their waste, according to data from 2021. Also, the quality of waste management services is hugely inconsistent across the country, according to experts, and there's very little incentive for waste sorting or investment in improving treatment infrastructure. New Zealand has a mixed track record on environmental policy, says Troy Baisden, Acting Programme Director of Climate Change Science and Policy at Victoria University of Wellington. It has one of the first comprehensive emissions trading schemes to limit emission of greenhouse gases from industry and transport while incentivizing forestry, he said. Although, he added, the country hasn't reduced those emissions nearly as much as the UK or US. The formation of a coalition government of the country's 2 major parties, Labour and National, in December 2023, has led to uncertainty about green policies. Political parties have passed favourable green policies during their times in power. However, since the formation of the coalition, many of National's green goals unravelled, including financial incentives for electric car buyers and funding for cycleways and public transport. Instead, the country is looking at loosening regulations, allowing urban sprawl and a reversal of the ban on oil and gas exploration. Peru taken strides in recent years towards promoting a circular economy. Its National Competitiveness and Productivity Plan includes a policy measure that develops a strategy for circular economy agreements in industry and the fishing and aquaculture and agriculture sectors. An integral part of this transition is the country's solid waste management law, which aims to make recycling mandatory and protect, train and create formal employment for waste workers. It also regulates single-use and disposable plastic packaging. This law has been praised as a significant achievement in solid waste regulation. Furthermore, Peru is the first member country of the Pacific Alliance to enact a law regulating single-use and disposable plastic packaging, with the goal of prohibiting the use of single-use bags, expanded polystyrene and plastic straws.